with the third chapter of chemistry, and the third chapter is combustion and flame. So before we start with this, let me just correlate what you learned in the second chapter and what you are going to learn now. See children, in the second chapter of chemistry, you studied about coal, petroleum and natural gas. You also learned that it is a very good fuel. Okay, you said that it's a very good fuel. It's used as a fuel in automobiles. We also learned about natural gas. We learned that under pressure, natural gas is called as compressed natural gas, and this compressed natural gas is used as a fuel in transporting vehicles. It's also used at homes and in factories as fuel. This is what you learned in the last chapter. Right. Now try to understand. I have been mentioning the term fuels. Now try to understand what is fuel. See, fuel is any substance that reacts in the presence of oxygen, releasing usable energy. Or I put it this way, any substance which burns or undergoes combustion in the presence of air to release heat and energy is called fuel. Am I clear, children? So anything which undergoes combustion in the presence of oxygen to release energy, heat, and even sometimes light is given out, children. Okay, and the light which is given out is in the form of a flame or a glow. So I think I am very clear about what fuel is. If you can just remember what examples you had given in the previous chapter, you said the example for fuel are petrol, okay, and even the fuels which we use at home. I think we just spoke about wood. Firewood is used as at home as a source of energy. Okay, in some villages even cow dung, the dry cow dung cakes we call it, cow dung cakes, it's used to obtain heat, energy. Alright, apart from that, in many homes we use liquid petroleum gas, you know, that LPG cylinders. All these are sources of energy, and you put all of them together under examples for fuels. Okay, children. So when I was defining fuel, I just made a mention of combustion. Okay, now what I want you to understand is, what is the meaning of combustion? Clear, children? What is the meaning of combustion? See, please understand, combustion is a chemical process, okay, in which a substance, right, burns to give energy. Am I clear, children? Am I clear? See, please understand. Right. It's very clear that any substance which reacts, which burns in the presence of oxygen to release heat, right? And this process of burning of the substance is called combustion. Am I clear, children? And the substance which burns, okay, is called combustible substance, or you can also call it as fuels. So with so much of information, please try to understand that fuels exist in three states. It can be solid, liquid or gas. Okay, children. Now take the example of solid. Just now I was telling you the example of solid fuel is wood. Okay, you can say charcoal or you can even say coal. Am I clear, children? These are the examples of fuels which are in solid state. Now when you talk about the fuels which is in the liquid state, okay, you can give the example of petrol, okay, diesel, kerosene and so on. When you are talking about a liquid which is in the gaseous state, okay, then you can talk about compressed natural gas, okay, children, and you can also talk about LPG. Just now I was making a mention of liquid petroleum gas. So it's very clear that fuel is available in solid, liquid and gaseous state. The examples I have given you for solid state, liquid state and gaseous state. Okay, we will just try to understand some more concepts based on this unit. See children, just observe what we are doing. Okay, now this is a matchbox and this is a matchstick. Just I am holding the matchstick. Does it catch fire and burn? No, you can just say it does not burn it down. But when I strike it against the matchbox, against the side of the matchbox, it catches fire and burns. Okay, just observe. I'll tell you exactly later what happens. See, now I'm lighting the spirit lamp. You can just see how easily it gets lit. Okay, and now let us burn a piece of magnesium. You can do it, sir. We'll burn a piece of magnesium ribbon, and you have done this in 7th standard, but just once again, you just see how instantly it catches fire. A magnesium ribbon, it's burned. We are just trying to burn the magnesium ribbon with the help of a spirit lamp. Yeah. Can you see? It burns with a bright flame, white bright flame, right? And even the smoke is being released there. And magnesium burns in oxygen to form magnesium oxide. This you have learned last year. Done? Okay. Now, let's just observe, children. Just observe. We are trying to burn a piece of paper with the help of the flame of the spirit lamp. You see how easily it caught fire. So focus into the camera. See, it's just immediately it caught fire. Right. Now let us put off the fire. Sir, please put off the fire. Okay. So what did we do? We just run some water over the fire and the fire is put off. Is it clear, children? Now let us try to burn this piece of twig. Observe. Does it catch fire very immediately as the paper did? No. So what are you trying to understand here is, I want you to understand that different substances starts burning at different temperatures. Is it clear? So please understand, the temperature at which a substance catches fire and burns is called the ignition temperature. Okay? Just to make you clear that different substances have different ignition temperature, I conducted all these experiments for you. So you were very clear that different substances starts burning at different temperatures. So with this, we'll continue with the concept, children. Yes? So you're clear with the definition of ignition temperature. Okay, now please understand, children, many times you would have observed at home, right? Kerosene, when it is kept in a container at room temperature, does it catch fire and burn, children? No. But when kerosene is heated a little bit, what happens? It immediately catches fire and burns. The same thing holds good even in the case of cooking oil. If anytime you have observed, in case your mother had kept some cooking oil on a frying pan, and if she had overheated it, you just see it immediately catches fire and burns. Means what? What do you understand from this? You understand that certain substances, they have low ignition temperature and little bit of heat is enough for it to catch fire and burn. Okay, so it can reach its ignition temperature by just supplying little bit of heat. Now take for example, I just try to burn a twig, okay, wood, a piece of wood. Did it catch fire and burn? No. You would have seen this sometimes in some cases, children. Like if you wanted to burn wood, you can burn it either by using some papers or by using some liquid fuel like petrol or kerosene. So once you add a little bit of kerosene or a petrol and just try to burn the wood, it easily catches fire and burns. So very clear that some substances just with little bit of heat can reach its ignition temperature, but some its ignition temperature is a bit high. So if at all you want it to burn, what you're supposed to do, you have to take the help of either some other liquid fuel and then start making it burn. Only then it will reach its ignition temperature. So I think I am very clear with this. Now please understand, children, you need to understand that any substance which burns is called a combustible substance. Okay, at the same time, try to understand that the substance which catches fire and burns very easily, right, at its ignition temperature is called inflammable substance. Now, I want you to understand the concept inflammable substances. So, what are inflammable substances? These substances, they just catch fire and burn very easily, right? And this substances, you can just take the example as liquid petroleum gas again, okay, or natural gas. So what happens is it just catch fire very easily and burn. And to continue, children, please understand, I also conducted one more experiment for you. I just burnt a paper and I put out the fire by just taking it under running water. Now by just pouring water, I could put out fire. So what is clear now? Please try to understand. If at all combustion should happen, what are the factors which are necessary? Okay, the three factors which is very essential for combustion is, number one, there should be supply of air or there should be supply of oxygen. Okay, only in the presence of oxygen any substance can burn. I was telling you in the beginning itself, any substance which reacts in the presence of oxygen, meaning if you want any substance to burn, there is a need of oxygen. Am I clear, children? Am I clear? Second one. See, we just put out the fire from the from the paper by just pouring water on it. What happened then? Please try to understand. When we started pouring water on the paper, its ignition temperature dropped. Got it? Thereby you could put out fire. So, please understand, there should be heat or there should be a particular temperature for something to burn. Clear, children? Just to again take you through, when the paper was burning, I just poured some water on it and the fire was put off. So, what did water do? It actually reduced the ignition temperature. Got it? So, if you want any substance to undergo combustion, it can only happen if it has attained the ignition temperature, and if it's below the ignition temperature, combustion will not happen. So what is the next factor which is very essential for combustion, children? It is temperature, or you can just say ignition temperature. Okay, so you need even temperature or heat for burning to happen. Is it clear, children? And the third one, I was always talking about combustible substances. Even here I said inflammable substances. Meaning what? The substance should have the capacity to catch fire and burn. Okay, so the substance should be combustible. Okay, so in the presence of all these three, you just see burning happens. Okay, so these are the three important factors which help burning. Now see, children, I again would like to correlate this with one incident which you quite often see. Many times when there is a fire in some place, you would very immediately see a fire brigade rushing to that place. You got it? So when the fire brigade reaches the place, what does it do? It immediately sees that it pours water on the burning surface. So when water is poured on a burning surface, number one, as I told you, the ignition temperature drops. Number two, what happens is, around the burning substance, okay, water vapor is produced which cuts off its contact with the air. So here, by just pouring water on a burning substance, what are you trying to do? Number one, you are dropping down its ignition temperature. Number two, you are removing the contact of the burning substance from the atmospheric air. Now, the same thing, I will correlate to one more incident which you are also familiar, children. Many a time, when a person catches fire, you would have observed, maybe in movies or maybe in some incidents you would have seen, immediately the person is wrapped with a blanket or they just throw sand on him. The reason is, again, a blanket or sand will just cut off the contact of the burning substance from the atmospheric air. So I hope you are very clear, children. So we learned about what fuel is, what is combustion, what is combustible substances or inflammable substance. It's one and the same. And then we learned about, okay, some examples of combustible substance. Then we learned about the factors which are essential for combustion. So in the next class, we should learn about which are the different types of combustion. Am I clear, children? Thank you very much.